Hello to the gamers! Welcome back for the final, decisive, oh so important week of ETF2L Spring 2024 Season 7. It's going to be Forfence versus Garda tonight. One of the most important matches in the season, as it turns out, because both of these teams are going to have very important implications for making playoffs, depending on the scoreline that we will see at the end of this match. Before I get ahead of myself, though, hi, I'm Cerny, joined by JMax on the production and my man Ben on the mic. How's it going, man? How you doing?
Doing very good. It's been a long couple of days trying to work out what the heck is going on in Prem this season in terms of the playoff scenarios and such. Obviously, very complicated, as with last season. So many teams still in with it, and it means this week 7 is as exciting as ever. And as you said, we've got Forfence and Garda, both of them currently sitting second and third between them, but both of them not actually clear of the drop technically. So both of them are going to be wanting to get any points that they can, and also,
yeah, it is quite crazy.
Yeah, on that note as well, they can
died, by the way.
Did I? Oh,
no. I'm back. Am I back? Hello.
Yeah.
You are back. My internet died for a minute there. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. My bad. Anyway, what were you saying?
I think basically, yeah, they're both shooting for not just to get in top 4, but top 2 is big, right? If they can get top 2, it means you can bypass that lower bracket game, and it basically guarantees you top 3 overall. So they're obviously not just playing for the survival. There's obviously plenty of stake in this. If they win the first one, they want to win the second one as well. They actually guarantee that and make sure that they get themselves a bit of a better chance later on for that top 3 spot.
Well. It's gonna be. It's crazy to think about. You were talking about this before, right? How there could be a 3-way tie depending on how a specific scenario. Garda doesn't get any points tonight, and then TLR wins, and there's a 5-1 in the last match, and it's crazy because for the longest time in Prem we didn't have this, right? We had at least 2 teams guaranteed to always make playoffs, and then maybe there was a bit of contention between 2 teams for the 4th spot. We don't have that anymore. This is a four-way contention here. 4 teams can still make it into 3 spots. It's crazy. When did this? All that needed was that Witness were just all right, we're done, and then suddenly there's a vacuum that needs to be filled. It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, obviously, Mandem have sort of, and maybe not quite taken over because he's not been quite so dominant on their side, but they are still shooting up ahead. But everyone else has just been given the kick of the backside, right? And everyone else is just taking points of each other, going to these crazy games, trading rounds back and forth. And yeah, it's been a real wacky season. And I've got to say, speaking of wacky season, Garda, honestly, coming into this, they've surprised me massively. They have performed so well. They're currently second, and they are now guaranteed a spot in playoffs. It's such a good performance in this season. What do you think, has maybe given them the differences this season and last season? Why are they doing so well, do you think?
That's a tough one, because Garda have been around the circles of Prem for eons, right? They've been in Prem for a few seasons, then they go back down to Div 1, chill for a while, then they come back, and suddenly they're a dark horse team again. I don't even remember if they had significant roster changes from last season. I think Utka did join them in place of, I think, Menix, and I think that's the only change they had. So maybe just that scout switch up, did a lot for them. Bro's been off-classing like crazy, so maybe they've just been working around that flexible role a little bit better or something like that. But maybe also just the upset against TLR at the start of the season, or the fact that maybe some of the better teams from last season didn't do that well. TLR have been struggling a little bit this season. Obviously, the Germans are out of the running. They placed second last season, but maybe some of those roster shakeups actually worked in Garda's favor, right? It's maybe not even necessarily that they improved as much as opposed to the other teams, but much rather a lot of the other teams maybe fell off a little bit because of roster switch-ups or what it may be, the powers that may be, right? So perhaps that's the difference it makes instead. I don't know. It's just how I view it, at least.
Yeah, I agree somewhat. Yeah, I think it's been obviously not too many changes over their side, but they've looked quite a bit better this season. They've had some good results, and especially clawing back results in these super close games. They always manage to get something. They're never down and out on Garda. But over the other side, we've got Forfence, who is honestly a team I was incredibly excited about at the start of this season, and I probably still am now, to be honest. The players in this team is absolutely outrageous. They've got obviously Nevo QB on scouts, Brugeman runs on the soldiers, Deli and Juxta rounding it out. It's sort of maybe we're looking to call it a French super team because of obviously there's plenty of great French players not on this team, but it's pretty damn good, and it's one of those ones on their day they can beat anyone. and that's why they're up near the top of the Prem this season. And a fun little fact: these two teams, in kind of similar scenario last season, actually played in week 7, with both of them having playoff implications on it. But it was the Frenchies that actually came out and won 6-0.
Well, we'll see how things have changed in that time. Because as much as I love hyping up the Rons, Bruggeman, Soldier duo, at least a couple of last matches I've watched them, they didn't quite get to do what they wanted to. I'm not necessarily blaming them for that. Obviously, maybe their opponents just did a much better job, dealing with the aggression of those two soldiers. But if they get to do what they want to do, they are a dangerous combo to go up against. On the other side, Bud's gonna do some crazy bomb on Snakewater later. It's gonna happen. I'm waiting for it. Either way, we're gonna have to see how warmed up these players are, how well each team is gonna go straight into it on this first little round of process. Once more, Garda in the red and Forfeits in the blue as they go into their first little mid-fight straight off the bat. A little bit of a faster rollout for Delhi, but perhaps not too much to write home about as the teams just slowly but surely prod their way across, and it looks like we're already in a pause, or is my internet dying again?
Isolated, no, taken down.
Oh my god.
No, not quite. Runs doesn't quite manage it. Jumps the one to go down on the other side.
I'm sorry. I'm back. I don't know what might have been my internet today. It seems to be cutting out randomly. Anyway, looks like a 1 mid for Garda, kind of?
Yeah, I don't know how Theos lives, to be quite honest. That's kind of crazy. Like, Theos has, runs literally in his face. Like, point-blank rocket into Theos' face, and just apparently absolutely fine. So, Garda can come back in a big return advantage and a player advantage as well, as they just start waltzing their way and going to clean up QB, who was ratting out there in the sewers. So, cap this one up and try and look forward towards second.
Very, very well so. I mean, even if you lose the mid-fight at first, obviously keeping that meta alive gives you so much momentum to claw back right away, leapfrog your way back into the second, and that's what they're doing. Theo's actually being very aggressive here as well, just walking forward with his scout, taking a little bit of damage, but obviously not going to feel the pressure just yet to pop. Probably keen to if he has to, but ideally wouldn't want to, and the pressure they're keeping on these French players means none of them are too aggressive. Utka. Okay, you guys go down as well. They're actually just gonna drop the whole team. Never mind. They're gonna drop the whole team and just run away. Matter of fact, if Theos isn't careful here, he might get forced because Bruggeman's already on the chase and Yalin just barely body blocks that soldier before he manages to get anything done. Bud comes in to reinforce a little bit as well, but Theos just gets forced out. There's still no Uber for the side of Juxta though. He's got to be careful. He's not in the clear necessarily. Has to deal with a little bit of aggression before they finally managed to stabilize that, and there you go. They're going to take control of it now.
Yeah, nice hold there from Juxta, and what great pressure it was from Forfeits there on that second point. Just able to hang on, uber disadvantage, they don't care, they do the damage, and they get the prize, getting 4 kills. They're able to hold in and run straight onto Grix. He's going to eat even more space on the second point. Shappy is the last one to leave out towards one, as both these soldiers have gone down on the red side. Going to have to get an engineer up, going to have to get a sniper up, and going to have to get the doors locked on this last point, because Juxta has a full uber charge, and this could be coming into last very soon.
It very well does, and the Sentry is taken care of immediately as well. It's going to be on how well Garda can kite this now. The respawners are here, they have the heavy ready as well. They've got sticks on point still to deal with, and the Frenchies are just now finding some frags, but they've only found so many, and nope, never mind. They can't get to the point in time to block, and the rest of the team was spawn camped, so there you go. First quick round for the Frenchies. They are coming out swinging in less than 3 minutes. They've got one on the board.
Yeah, off a big disad as well, right? Losing their Medicom mid, and Theos living with plenty of players there to repush into mid. Like, it was looking so good for Garda, but that push into second was just such a nightmare. Like, not only did they lose 4 players, they're also getting chased out. The Force comes in. That Force gets absolutely nothing. Juxta's also saved the rest of that team as well, and yeah, clean conversion there, doing what Garda chose to themselves. Forfeits now round up and taking a bit of aggression in for the right-hand side runs, jumping all the way into enemy IT. Going to be with the amount of damage onto Theos, but that is going to be it for now. Big more spam coming in. Theos, but taking down is also Nevo, as now 6v3. It looks like Garda again getting the better of the mid-fight.
Now once more, and Theo's just chatting through that once more as well. Fortunately for the Frenchies this time around though, they did keep Juxta in it as well, so they're gonna have an Uber to hold with however they desire. I guess in this case it will be the last, considering they just lacked the players to set up on second. And Garda already quite aggressive. As a matter of fact, Bud might just pay with his life. He does indeed. Was a bit too keen, too eager in lobby, and actually Grix as well. Both soldiers taken care of, so perhaps the second isn't as secure as it maybe seemed at first. They still cap it, but you know, Forfeits are keen to maybe send somebody out there themselves, even if it's just Deli peeking a little bit from lower, and then Brugman spamming through a door, walking on top of stickies that nobody ever pops. Very interesting. And there's an Utka that just runs in from behind, who I completely missed, but he died anyway, so... chaos. Absolute chaos, and somehow Garda is still... Yeah, we're going to hold this second. We're not going to give this one up just yet. We're going to stay here, and it's working.
I'm interested to see what Utka comes up on, because obviously we've known off-class and known other sniper, and again, coming up on the sniper class, so something we've already seen a little bit of earlier on last, didn't have too much impact there, but now he can take his time, he can start taking the angles he wants, make some space, try and work their way in. Nevo going to be aware of this, checking the off-classers back and deciding to come up on the counter-sniper, so maybe headshot versus headshot, who's going to be the one to land that big 150?
I mean, you do have one of them buffed right now. You got Nevo was waiting for his buff on the other side as well, and he wins that duel just like that. Wins that sniper matchup immediately, and with the aggression kind of out of Brugman immediately as well to follow up on. Didn't quite get what he wanted out of it, but get a little bit of damage into Theos, managing to force back these Garda players, and they have to bite their time now. They still have to deal with that sniper anyway. All that Nevo has to do is get a little bit of a deeper peek, and they're in deep stuff themselves on Garda. They can't be too aggressive now at all. So they gotta be worried about it, and it looks like Utka has committed to instead go for the spy play. Alright.
I am kind of convinced watching Utka play sometimes, like, Leaf just cycles through the off-classes and pushing last spy, heavy, pyro, whatever, like, just goes on last on anything, and it seems Nevo is very much aware, coming out on the pyro, maybe trying to find Utka, who's currently just sat invisible out in front of 5, waiting for a moment to strike, but those moments are few and far between when there's a pyro laying fire all over the place on this low ground on the point. Juxta looking at very, very safe there in front of that dispenser. So there's other things you can go for, of course. You can go for a sap on the sentry gun and then a sack. There's plenty of opportunities, but it's so much harder when there's that pyro in play.
Yeah, with the window shrinking thanks to the pyro, I think they're just going to go for the sentry play as best they can. Utka can't reach it in time, though. The distraction is only there for a moment, but can't follow up for free either. But they do a little bit of damage to Juxta at the very, very least. Forcing that mid to, you know, be a bit more careful here if there's any sort of counter-aggression. And that's enough probably to keep Forfens at bay for the time being. They, matter of fact, seem to be content with maybe even just going for the round reset at this point. It certainly would buy them 2 points at once. They're just going to see if they can get Nevo a little bit of an angle for a second before having to back off again. And it's another attempt for Garda to try and convert another last push with Utka back on the sniper as well. So we're just back to basics. They're cycling through the options, seeing what sticks, seeing what works. Maybe this time he will win the sniper duel, and maybe this time they can get a last push mounted out of it. As Bud bombs around, gets a nice damage actually onto Juxta, forcing him out of that dispenser armor as well. But not enough for anybody else to follow up on. Utka wins the sniper duel, but couldn't get that crucial shot onto the medic who was out of position. And, well, even though he doesn't have to worry about the sniper now, he does have to worry about a rocket in his face. There you go.
Had a go through rollout though, there nearly got looking onto Juxta. He's completely unwatched, able to just thread the needle there. Brugman just was too interested in one at the moment, and yeah, gets in, has a good attempt at it, does not land it though. But 1-1 in the sniper 1v1 so far between Utka and Nevo, and honestly now is the time when you start looking a little bit at that round reset time, and there's 1 minute 30 left. Time for 1, maybe 2 pushes if they're super quick, if you can get some sort of repush in, but the Uber charge is ready. It seems like the Utka back on the scout, and they're going to go something a little bit faster as Bud now jumping in through 3, going to try and land in onto Juxta, who surfs out all the way. Grix and Utka both go down also, 3 players down, and barely a lick of damage taken by the French side.
Well, there you go. Just like that, another failed. My internet keeps cutting out, I'm sorry. I don't know what's happening tonight, by the way. This is I might just be unresponsive every once in a while. Thankfully, nothing happened, so it doesn't even matter, right? It's just another failed last push attempt, and there's the heavy. This is what we've been seeing a lot of out of Utka this season. These heavy last pushes are something that they're very keen to try on the side of Garda. They love doing them, so perhaps this will be the one that they can actually do something with. They just seem to be struggling.
They lost the pocket scout though straight away. 30 seconds left. Bomb coming in for Ronz as well. Going to try and get some damage. Going to be jumping up to top lobby. The heavy is there and waiting in lower lobby, but it seems like Ronz is able to evade that one and get back out 20 seconds before the round reset comes in. It's now or never for Garda. Otherwise, they'll be going back onto this mid-fight in 14 seconds. They have to get in. They have to get some time on this point. Super fast. Bomb comes in straight onto Juxta. Juxta forcing out towards spawn. Going to keep everyone alive for now as Bud launched into the sky, but air shot attempts coming out either side, but he's getting some cap time on it. There's a little bit there, but not quite enough. That's going to tick down super fast. Gallon going to be the one to jump in, get a fair bit of cap time there. Heavy down from Utka though, and And now Grix and Theos, last two up. And last two to be taken down. And actually, there's a chance to cap second. Okay, Juxta going to play the advantage this time. Still 10 more seconds on Theos. And Forfens decide, you know what? We're going to take the ad and we're going to take our run second.
You don't see many teams doing that in that situation. Most players would decide, let's just go for the mid fight instead. You get 2 points for free. But with such a wipe on last, it's effectively the same. At the end of the day, you're still getting 2 points for almost free anyway. And they already find Bud. Okay, they trade him out for Rons, but they find Utka as well. And yeah, there you go. Not only do they get mid now, they also have an ad in a tow. So ultimately, actually the right play. Go for that.
Especially the nice forwards as well, I think. Which even helps.
Yeah.
They get in for free. And now look at this ad coming in. They're already sitting at about 35-40 ads. There's bombs coming across the point. We're going to jump out towards rollout. Going to just about die to fall damage. That was probably super close there. Almost able to get back to safety. But now EV charges not quite evening. But we'll be doing soon, especially with Guzman down. It looks like we might be slowing down on the Garda last for a little bit of time. Let's go up on the engineer yelling there and taking the turn on the sniper this time. Let's see what Forfeits have to offer. So honestly, limited success from Garda. Like, it never really seemed like Jux was under too much threat in that previous attempt on last. But let's see now, Forfeits already sacking in runs. Not able to get anything. We'll see what else they can cook up on this last point.
I mean, we've, at least so far with our very limited sample size, we've seen Forfeits be more successful with the last push attempts they've had. Garda had a few attempts, quite a few more actually. Couldn't really do much with it. Fortunately for them though, Yalen's also hitting shots right now. They do lose Shappy. But at least Yalen's hitting some shots, so maybe that's keeping them in it. And with Bruchman still in the respawn, and I'd be surprised if Forfeits were too committed to getting deep into this. I mean, they're trying to send in Rons, he just gets picked off by the sentry effectively, which leads to the sentry getting destroyed, but they've sacked both of the flank players effectively for it, so was that really all they wanted? I don't know. I don't know if that's worth it at the end. They used that little bit of downtime created by Shappy not being able to cover a door, but I don't know if it's going to matter too much in the long run, because they are not able to roll off the back of it. Now you're just giving Yalen a lot of sidelines to do whatever he wishes with, and he's trying his best. Bruchman gets picked off once more as well, trying to be aggressive, and yeah, Frenchies are not finding their way into this last just yet.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one to get. I like the idea there with runs though. As soon as the demo man was down, tried to jump in and surf the way up into panic room, but was taken down there. Actually, a very nice air shot there. Quite low to the ground, but still technically an air shot from Bud. Able to skewer him into the wall, kill momentum, and give him some more space. But now it seems like the French is taking the space up towards rollout. Yalen taken down. Grix goes down as well. That's 2 picks. Nevo going to be a faster spawner also, so this could be the window of opportunity that Forfeits is looking for. Looping together over towards one. They're trying to waddle in, trying to get this gun down first. Spam over towards that. Objective 1 complete. Guzman is a little bit weak though behind, and I have to slow this down. Getting arrow spawners are coming in now though, so it has to be now or never. They've got to drop these players in spawn if they can. Guzman goes down for it. Cap time comes in. There's so much cap time coming through from the blue side. Forfeits is playing the cap really well. Uberchargers still drive from either side, and more players dropping though on the French side. Delhi goes down also, and it seems like Garda are hanging on.
Oof. That was a very interesting fight. Both medics choosing to just drop their players without any regard for their Uber charges. Juxta somehow escaping throughout all of that with a couple of his teammates. Honestly, impressive in its own right, but Garda are in the driver's seat now. They still don't have to worry about a demo man. Nevo just arriving on the mid fight as well. It still should be a little bit favored for Garda here, as they already put some time on that point as well. Get some positions going. Delhi just now arriving as a reinforcement here for the French side as well. And both medics still hang onto their Ubers, waiting for the other one to make the first move. Unfortunately, Utka goes down, and that's gonna force Theos eventually with the aggression from the French soldiers. They're not gonna be able to chase anything either. Yeah, they're not chasing anything where Yalen gets caught, matter of fact. He's probably gonna make it out, and Rons is already in behind, causing a lot of mayhem, but doesn't get any kills, just a bit of damage as Grix tries to hold people off on choke, and Bud is there to back him up a little bit as well. They're probably gonna be able to keep these Frenchies at bay for at least a little bit, but man, it's high bombs all around, just trying to time it perfectly, and QB's in from the flank to clean up that little soldier frag. Matter of fact, make it 2 for him. Well, they do trade him out, I suppose, but it still favors the Frenchies at the end of the day. They have the fastest spawns.
Oh, nice arrow from Juxta. Nevo there could have been caught out. The pocket scout goes down there, you're thinking maybe the forward come in to Juxta, but it seems so far. They can bully their way in, just 3 players up, they're going to be in, getting the force out. Massive kill there. Yalen going to try and back up to meet up with Theos in. Red respawn, 50% advantage for Theos though, but on your own last, it's not exactly the place you want to be. Demoman's still down as well, so going to be having to build this one out. Gonna have to see if they can make use of it, but yeah, it was so close there. A couple of times, just so many players around that French combo just getting caught out of position, being chipped down to damage, and they make it work eventually, but it's not pretty, and they really didn't want to be having to use the Uber charge so late there on the grass, because ultimately that Uber gets nothing.
Yeah, it was a saving grace that Uka manages to slip in. Now we have an Uber on the side of Garda. Instead, they already found 2 soldiers with it who were basically just sacked to force for it. QB is on last. Nobody's there either. And they're not going to be able to stack second fast enough either. Oh, that's a bummer for Garda. They let that scout slip through, and he's just going to get away with that back cap as well. That's 2-0 for Forfence. They are looking dominant so far in process.
Great awareness from QB, honestly, just like sees the fights going kind of bad. I think they were like 2 picks for 1 down, and just sees a gap top lobby and just thinks, you know what, I'm just going to sprint in and just go for it. And yeah, there was no one home on last. There was that tiny window of opportunity where no one could see him go through, and it wasn't even like he was getting chased by anyone. It was literally, that was it. As soon as he goes through, you know it's round over at that point, and 2-0 down now, half the game still to play. Looking like Garda need to have some response for this one, but it's still salvage there. Kids have been decent so far, but I say that, and they are getting absolutely crunched on this third mid-fight. Reasonably the only one to fall down for the French side so far. Bud going to try and bomb back across onto Runs, who had somehow escaped out into the sewers, but 3 players up now for Garda. They're going to be in a little bit of pressure on this second point.
Yeah, they might have to keep backing out as well. Shappy's already caught Bud. Might get caught up by Nevo as well, who's actually just trying to go for Theos, but will settle for that soldier kill instead as Theos makes it back to spawn in safety. But Garda are basically holding last already, and Juxta is keen to keep his team aggressive here. He's got that Uber ready a little bit sooner. Theos is going to have his own to respond with. But they're not going to let Garda set up for free here. Rons is just trying to spawn camp. Nevo is in so deep as well and manages to escape. We've got Deli on the other side, spawn camping the other spawn door as well. These Frenchies are not letting them have any time. As a matter of fact, they got the force out of Theos. I didn't even notice.
Oh, that's so rough for Garda. They're going to try and bomb in, going to try and get this Uber out of Juxta as far away from last as possible. They get it, but how many players are going to die for this? They're trying to run out in 2 players dropped already. Looks like it's a good arrow there with Shappy going to keep him alive for a little bit longer as he gets out onto last, but yeah, that force all important. 2 players down. Maybe there's a world where some kind of aggression can come in straight away. Runs the first one in through 3. Deli joining in as well. A few more seconds on these respawners, and the space is there. See how the Frenchy side come in. They decided to stack the point again. There's so much cap time. The cap time eventually gets blocked out, but look at that blue point. So close to being over.
A pixel, a microsecond later for either of those Garda soldiers, and it probably wouldn't have been blocked. But as it turns out, that's all you needed, that 1 microsecond. It's enough for Garda to hang on by a thread. Utka is going to chase out this Deli as well and try to get that second back under control immediately. Theo's living there as well. Crucial for Garda to get some counter momentum going here now. That big ad is all they have to write home about. They still don't have to worry about a Deli or Nevo just now spawning as well. So if they can keep up any form of speed here on this mid, they should be able to get in here decently well. Brugman goes down early, couldn't quite sack for medic force or anything like that. It's just going to have to be dead, and looks like Garda are keen to keep moving forward as well. Bud already taking some ground here on that second point, and the rest of the team following suit very quickly as well as they lose Bud, matter of fact. But you know, a small price to pay for getting basically a coast-to-coast to the enemy last off of 1 Uber ad.
Yeah, it was really important there. Getting that kill on Deli on the way out means that spawner comes in so late on second. Like, Deli's still placing traps and choke by the time the push comes in. Like, it was so important that Deli isn't there, because as we see how potent they can be as Bud drops 2 stickies at the end of that fight. Utka decides to go back for a go on sniper again. Honestly, limited success so far, I've got to say, for this sniper on pushing into last. But we've seen successes early this season on it, so why not go for it again? Currently just moving around in the lobby, trying to get some space, and trying to see if anyone is going to get their head in front of him.
Yeah, despite the success of Garda have had this season, pushing last seems to be a sore point for them a lot of the time. So we'll see if maybe a hero shot at Utka is all it takes, and he's just going to try to opt for a duel against Nevo instead and gets cleaned up by a no-scope. Unfortunate for him, with Ron's immediately following suit as well, just barely getting shut down by Shappy, but nuking the entire combo, nearly killing all of them. Grix also just a bit overextended, walking to the sniper sideline. Nevo getting some free reign here, potentially, if anybody wants to walk in that shutter, or if he just, well, he's probably going to check now. Actually, he's just going to expect that Utka is going to stay on that sniper, which, well, fair enough, works out.
It was such
Perhaps
a good
works
attempt
out.
from Bronze though, right? Like that attempt from Bronze into lobby, like that was so close. That was like just fractions of a second away from getting that last rocket off, which could have done huge damage, not just to Theos, but to the rest of the combo. That was like almost triple kill potential there, as everyone was trying to run their way out of lobby. But again, Sniper up once more. Has to offer this time because honestly,
He's
Nevo's
staying
well.
at spawn. I don't know what Utka's doing. He's just staying in spawn. Maybe he's trying to fake out.
Yeah.
He's trying to bait out. Like he had Nevo checking, making sure he was still on sniper. So yeah, he switches to spy now. Waits for a little bit so they think it's a sniper. Maybe this is gonna work, but I think they're gonna start growing paranoid very soon. Nevo's gonna realize something's up.
Is this what happens when you use 100% of your brain?
No, because he just walked into a sticky trap and instantly died.
That's unfortunate.
That's very unfortunate.
At its finest. So yeah, everything goes down. I guess maybe they didn't know it was a spy. I don't know. It didn't make a difference, right? They can just come back up. That's why you need the dead ringer, right? You need dead ringer. You walk in disguised as a friendly sniper, die with dead ringer, run behind them, and attack them. It's free.
That would do it. Unfortunately, they didn't think that far ahead. Utka's back to the sniper instead, and Garda are desperately trying, asking, begging for the location of an enemy to shoot for Utka, as Ron's immediately makes use of that butt frag and trades at that sniper instead. So, yep, they are already looking good inside of Frenchies. Matter of fact, this could be a push out. Yeah, it's quite dangerous for Garda. Bronze is just in so deep. Or somehow gets juggled by a scout the entire time. Brick's managing to stay alive. Oh my god, he trades with Bruchman as well. Who's this guy?
The 3-up temporarily.
Oh.
Ubercharge comes in, they take the trade.
Okay.
Going to be Ubercharge used out from Duxter. They're going to try and save one player, but no, actually only 2 players. It's just Ellie and Duxter left up. They're going to try and juggle them away from the point. They're going to get the captain coming through. Ubercharge lands on the point for a moment, and Duxter not quite enough. That is the weirdest last push I think I've ever seen. What on earth have we just witnessed? But it's got them back in the game 2-1.
Somehow people just trading, just people trading weirdly, like Drick's just walking in, killing 2 people before there's any sort of aggression. Early pop out of Theos, and yet they somehow kill everybody, catch 4/5 of their pants down basically, and somehow it converts into a round. Chaos is where they revel evidently, and that brings them back into the game. 8 minutes now for them to pick up another round so they can secure at least a few points out of process and give themselves a bit more of a secure chance of getting the playoffs. Unfortunately, so far, this bit fight isn't going their way with both the soldiers already taken care of.
As well is not too much impact so far. It doesn't
No.
He can try and get that important shot, but does not quite manage to land it. There's only 3 players left up, 1 player down, and Bruchman just going to fly into the face of Chappie, take that one down, and now it's about whether or not they can get these last couple of players out. Nevo fancies it, gets a kill with the scout, chasing down onto Theos. Ubersaur is out, and Ubersaur uses, because of that extra Uber, but it's still a massive advantage for Juxta. Nice little bit of movement there from Theos, but at the end of the day, they're stuck on their own last with Dissad, and Offense, they've converted from this position once already, and they're looking odds on to do it again.
It's a tough one. Probably still better than dropping there or dying, obviously. You're going to be able to at least heal up your team, get a little bit of a defense set up. Yellen, the defensive sniper for Garda, it has been evidenced now. He's the one that snipes when you're holding last, and Utka the one on pushes, and well, he's not going to be able to headshot anybody because they're just shiny around the corner already as the Uber comes in, and they try to get that sentry through the panic room. Very nice wraparound by 4/5, but the Uber is faded. Never mind, they've actually found Theos already somehow. So no heals for the side of Garda as well, as they're down half their team and so much cap time as well, with a soul heavy that can barely leave the spawn door. That is just another round right there for 4/5.
So clean. So clean, really well played there from Offense. Yeah, just sweeping around all of them in the top take, all the height above the point, and just lock people into those spawn doors. And yeah, especially once the medic's down, there's no buffs, there's no healing, like, it's over for the defensive side. And yep, Garda now just spent so long trying to battle back for that 1 round, and now it comes back to 2 again. And last time they mid with the sniper to mid, honestly, didn't sell it to me and didn't sell it to them either, because now we've gone back onto the scouters. Going to try walking up this left-hand side, taking the more aggressive, but big double bumping in onto Theos. Second one does not. As Juxta goes down, actually, Yellen's going to have a big meal on his plate. They're now trying to keep Theos alive, doesn't manage it. As it's 2v1 now. QB going to run out towards the red choke. Going to try and get out behind, really try and do some shenanigans on the flank. But there's 2 scouts to deal with on mid. This is going to be a 1 mid for Garda.
It is for the time being. QB might just try to hide somewhere, catch somebody off guard as they spawn. Obviously, he's going to have to deal with the fact that they're forward spawning, so in any way that actually works out in his favor, because he is behind now, and Garda are aware that that scout ran behind, so they should know he'll be in their future sooner rather than later, as Utka just tries to hold back the fort a little bit, ran in, trying to do the same to Forfence. Didn't work out for him though.
Rums
Yeah,
is
he's
bombing
just...
a boat.
Okay, alright, yep.
Two rockets onto Chaos. Massive plays there. QB getting guns to Bud also, and these Rattlers working out to absolute perfection for Forfence. Nevo take a week, but not going to matter. Going to run back towards the medic as 3 players die, including the medic, on that push through. And yeah, Garda, they're just caught out completely blindsided by the 2 hiding players.
Ron's not even much of a hiding player, he just kind of waddles in without anybody seeing, and Utka trying his best to get onto the combo there as well, but obviously not going to stabilize anything there. Garda once more on a severe back foot now. No Uber to write home about at all. They need a miracle bomb. They need some sort of... I mean, a drop would obviously be ideal, but even just a force onto Juxta here early, so they don't have to deal with that Uber for last, potentially, is all they can really hope for at this point. And Grix just barely escapes getting caught in upper lobby, but with that soldier out of position and Bud also escaping, they're not gonna get that early force, and they're just gonna have to hold last once more, as Forfence are already ready in lobby, looking to take that Uber in as quickly as they can, knowing full well the position they're in, and Deli getting sniped by Yalin might just save them.
Yeah, that's such a huge kill. It was honestly looking dire. The gun was still level 1. There was so much space coming in. The push was literally ready to go in less than like half a second. But yeah, that big snipe. He said that Utka hasn't had the most impact so far on the sniper, but this time, yeah, manages to get the all-important kill, and that just cancels the push instantly. But gotta say, the game does not end there, because now Garda are still even Ubers on their own last. And if you look at the timers, they have to push out. If they don't push out, they just lose 3-1. They have to try and go for something here. They're the ones trying to push in, and pushing out of your own last on any map is ridiculously hard. They're going to try and peek in with Yalin, maybe going to run back to perhaps change off, going to try and pick up from top of Drix either, but his timer ticks down, and Garda know what they have to do here. Hard.
Yeah, it's looking very comfortable now for Forfence here. They're going to have to mess up severely to lose 2 more rounds in the next 4 minutes, which is certainly possible for the side of Garda to accomplish if they step up the game, and maybe the spy play out of Utka that will catch out these Forfence players perhaps could be what they need. They're not going to be able to have a Pyro ready this time around. He's going to be in position a bit more quickly as well, and Ron's dying on the flank might make these Forfence players a little bit more cautious as well, with trying to hold back any more aggression as Grix comes in. Utka decloaks, but doesn't get onto Juxta in time. Decloaked at the wrong point, and it's just over like that, with Grix going down as well. Now they're actually looking like a nice little push out of the French side, perhaps. QB does go down, and even with the sentry traded out, that's still a very worthwhile trade. Yeah, he just lives that as well somehow. Rougeman, okay. That's it's not looking good for Garda. If you're Garda right now, you are struggling to hold this last point. There's so much cap time already, and matter of fact, nobody can get to the point in time as Nevo just chads it out and caps it.
I do respect the attempt there from Utka, but like, I don't know, Juxta was so aware of it, just like spinning, just 180 back and forth, just zigzagging behind that point, just in the perfect position to be just unpickable by any off-class sniper, spy, whatever. Just completely uncatchable behind that little pillar on second. And yeah, 2 minutes 46 left to play, 3 rounds to find. I think we are firmly into garbage time now, as Forfence going to take that number 1 on processors. They look pretty good in this, very, very clean players. They bomb it again on this mid-fight, going to try and get quick onto Theos. Juxta up on the quick screen, knowing that it's time for the fun to be had, as Glitch jumping across point. Going to try and force out the rest of these French players with heals. They'll be coming in again shortly. Going to try and battle this one out. We put it to 80%. Maybe we can have some heroics in Devi too.
They don't need it. They don't actually need it, because they're just wiping the full team. It's Utka as a sole survivor for Garda, and he's doing his best trying to go for the back cap as well. Pulling back a little bit of aggression, but it won't. Oh no. It's crits as well. Oh, they just barely keep the door shut, but they're not going to get out of there. Grix tries to do anything, but he won't be able to, and well, they got to wait for those crits to wear off, get those stickies out of there, and just somehow, some way manage to get out of that spawn in general, as they got to fight on second now. Bud trying his best to maybe be a bit of a distraction, a bit of a flashbang, and I guess it buys him a little bit of time, but it is, at the end of the day, garbage time. Nothing that we're seeing here matters except for frag clips, so I suppose Yalin maybe trying to get a cheeky air blast kill or something like that. That's all you can really write home about at this point anyway, and yeah, it's probably going to be another round for Forfence at this rate.
That was just sad crits. I'm still sad about the crits. I wanted to see the door open and just like a 4K behind the door, but no, the door just closes as soon as the crits comes up, and that's it. Now just going to walk in regardless. Theo's going to be getting either about the same time as his crits comes up, but Deli going to be critting across the point third. They get a few crit stickies over there, but tiny players are going to be coming in and blasting Deli down straight away. 2 players left, 1 minute left to play. Probably not even time for a coast to coast now to even get Garda 1 round back, never mind 3 is. Yeah, what a game it's been, this one. 4Fens looked close for a while, but 4Fens just too clean at the end and ran away with it, took their chances so well. We've seen lots of uber pushes from many teams this season, beef into last as various scenarios that have just gone wrong, but 4Fens this time, every time they had an advantage, it felt like they used it to the best of their ability, and yeah, what a game from them.
Yeah, they're just winning on raw fights as well. Matter of fact, they're gonna make it 5 points on the score to win on points instead of just time, even if it was with 20 seconds left. But hey, it's something to write home about. But yeah, again, I mentioned it before already. It seems like Garda just struggle with last pushes a lot of the time. More than any other team I've watched this season, they seem to struggle with last a lot, which is even more of a testament to the fact that how far they've gotten this season in terms of how they're second in the table right now. That's kind of the craziest part about that. When you consider that, I guess the few times they do make last pushes work are the ones that matter. But they had so many attempts there for a long time onto 4Fens last, and they just couldn't make it stick. They tried everything and they couldn't manage. I honestly don't know how it always got messed up again.
Yeah, from my memory as well, I feel like this season from a lot of the times, especially when they've been playing the teams around the top of Prem, the times they've got the rounds, honestly, it feels like Garda are winning more rounds on second than last. They're winning more rounds just from getting a 3-player advantage on second and just storming in. And to be fair, the round they got this time was kind of that, right? It was a failed push-out attempt from 4Fens, and then they catch 2 players. Grix gets that important 2k, and then they have momentum and can roll in. It feels like when the momentum grinds to a halt for Garda, they start struggling. And yeah, well, I've got to say, we're going into Snakewater next, and if it's a map where you need momentum to be to be doing anything, Snakewater is not that map for you. Snakewater can grind to a halt in many different ways, but you can be sat waiting a long time for your golden opportunity to get into last on this map. And they've had successes early this season on it, but honestly, to me, it hasn't looked too pretty.
Yeah, but then alternatively, I raise you the match they had against TLR, where they played Snakewater, and it was a bit of a slugfest for a while, and then Garda won that. So perhaps, I'm not saying it will happen, but perhaps there will be some sort of showing out of Garda. I wouldn't be surprised if they were the ones to pick this map. It wouldn't surprise me necessarily. It certainly probably could be the case. I don't know. We don't know who picked what. At least I don't, but we know that this was one of the maps. So I don't know if we're gonna have logs on screen for stream, by the way, or not. I mean, what's there to glean? One team was very dominant, and it kind of shows because both Rons and Delhi got just enormous damage.
Yeah, it was really well played from. Honestly, everyone on that French side had a pretty good game. 3 deaths on Juxta is you're always going to struggle to beat a team when the medic only dies 3 times. But yeah, really well played. Kind of typical 5-1 logs, I guess. But yeah, I think we can maybe have some cope if we potentially on Garda side for some time at the Garda. They had some rough results early this season on process, but on Snake they've won 2 and lost 1. So they beat Skedder, beat TLR as you mentioned earlier this season. So always been low scoring games, but they've proved hard to beat. So that's sometimes all you need on Snakewater. And let's remind us all that a tie here, I think, might still keep Garda in second place, and skipping out that first round of playoffs. There's definitely all to play for still for Garda, right? They're not thinking, we've lost this one, it's fine. It's last week, nothing matters. This is essentially playoffs round 1 for Garda, right? If they win this, they're in the upper bracket. If they lose it, they're in the lower bracket. Or potentially if there's some sort of divine intervention, they're out if all the results go against them. But they're still playing for something. They still should have some motivation, and they still should have some fire that we can maybe see on the Snakewater.
I mean, you would hope so, right? You would hope that they're just gonna know that, oh yeah, we suck, we suck on process. Put it behind yourself. Look ahead on Snakewater instead and see how that's gonna go. Ideally, if they can create some more of that chaos that they seem to revel in so much, sure, I can see this definitely going their way. Garda can find their way back into this fairly easily at that point. But all 4Fens has to do is have another one of those quick, clean rounds, and then just slow the game to a grinding halt. Will it be extremely boring to watch? Yes, absolutely. and I will blame them for it. But at the end of the day, they're playing for points, they're playing for playoff spots, they're playing for, having an easier time to then make sure that you are the team that denies Mandem from becoming anything but third place again. So, I think that's a privilege to have as well.
Yeah, I forgot to mention actually. Yeah, that is true. The team that wins this game is probably going to come second in the league, and then they get that free win in the first playoff round against Mandem because they have to lose. They have to lose again. This is tradition at this point. Mandem always losing playoffs, so that's going to happen. But I raised you 1 point, right? You said being stuck on last and such on Snakewater, it can be boring. But there's one player who I don't think got much of a mention last map, but someone who has had some iconic moments in this season and in prior seasons on this map, and that is Bud. The Bud bomb on Snakewater is just something different. I swear every time I see Bud play Snakewater, there's some insane air shot drop or sinking off a sentry gun into the skybox. There's absolutely crazy stuff that Bud can do on this map. So I really want to see Bud take off on this one, and I want to see what we're capable of because he showed before. It's a great player on this, so could be what Garda need perhaps.
This guy wants to see Bud do some crazy stuff so bad. He wants to see it so badly, chat. I don't disagree. No, yeah, it could definitely be an X factor, I suppose. He feels right at home here sometimes, perhaps, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see how their mids go. We'll have to see how they convert, because Forfans are looking clean right now. They are not making many mistakes, as opposed to Garda, who are, kind of throwing things out there. Maybe Utgavin, not the best day either, not really hitting too many shots on Sniper, at least on Process. So a lot of things are stacked against Garda, let's say it like that. They are not looking on form as much as Frenchies are, who, have struggled at times in the season as well, but are certainly not looking like they're going to be struggling against Garda at the very least currently, as they're going to go into their first little rollout on the second map of Snakewater, with the Frenchies taking the first one, maybe rolling some momentum into the next one, but maybe Garda will find their response to it instead, find their way back into it, feel right at home on their home ground, home turf, and perhaps that is the difference maker they need here, and secure themselves a nice little position in the playoffs. Either way, these teams are probably both making it at this point if both of them take home points, so more power to them. I guess the ideal outcome, the win-win situation for both, if that is what it comes down to, as the mid is trotting along. You know how it is. Sometimes these Snakewater mids take a while before soldiers decide to go high, as Bud does exactly that and lands right behind Brugman, who kills himself on the wall before Bud gets traded out. Shappy dies as well as Utka, and they find only Rons in the response. Yeah, no, it's a one mid for Forfans in the end. They just get the frags across the point eventually, and that's what matters, is Theos and Yalin try their best to get out of there. He's already in last behind them. He's found them, matter of fact, and he gets killed. Okay.
Yeah, this is they're now 2 players down. The spawners coming in for this Garda side. They can maybe contest second if they get in time. They're going to bomb in already with one soldier Bud up above. But the cap comes through. This means now it's kind of a time-sensitive mission for Garda. Now they can only stay for so long before they start getting pulled down. Beagle will be spawning in another second, but there's players all over the place on this second point. Bud's going to be the first one to fall, and what comes to Garda decide to go for this? They need to cap this point out, and eventually they get the cap, and Bud just kept alive on a slither of HP for a nice arrow there from Theos, but 3 players dropping. It seems like Forfans are actually the ones to overstay, as now they're getting charged out. Delhi disconnected from the rest of the combo. Also, Yalin going to be charging in too, and Forfans now going to be on the back foot on mid.
Yalin trades out for that demo kill as well. He's not gonna let Delhi get away, and yeah, Forfans are gonna have to keep being on the back foot. I mean, Juxta might even want to just trade here. Was at least keen for a moment before Garda realized, okay, we should probably just wait for our spawners to come back as well. Even with Delhi down, they can only do so much with those Forfan spawners coming in a little bit quicker, and they're just gonna have to wait on second set as Brugman and Rons both make their way in. Both of them getting denied by Grix to the best of his abilities. Unfortunately, it's a 2v1 for him for the time being, and he does go down. Brugman's still alive somehow throughout all this, as well as Rons fights Bud in. Jeez, manages to eventually get cleaned up, so they trade out soldiers, but so much room there for the Frenchies to do whatever they wanted to, as QB walks on grass, gets cleaned up, and yeah, once more Frenchies have to back off.
Utka's hiding up in top kitchen, but has been found out very, very quickly, and Evo able to take the one down with the scattergun. Now the rest of the team decide to push in off the space that's been made, but they're taking so much damage to Delhi on the way in. Evo chasing it in also, and yeah, Forfans do not want to budge. And what a weird back and forth this has been in the second. It's been a minute and a half now almost, of just constant back and forth aggression between these 2 teams, as Brugman are the first one to jump in, going to try and take space over towards Cheek, launching Grix away. Quite land the arrow, but
Juxta hit the arrow though on Grixter, I'm pretty sure. That's what I saw. So, you know, a little bit more fall damage spread there, and Grix would have been dead. That would have been a frag for Juxta just like that, which would have been quite something as well. Turns out, though, he lives. He lives those. He gets the lucky roll on the fall damage, and instead will survive for the time being. Given Garda a chance here with that soldier frag onto Brugman as well to maybe counter-aggress. Never mind, Rons just jumps into Saw and tries to deny him. He gets cleaned up, obviously, but still buying just a little bit of time for the Frenchies here as they always only lose one player, but somehow manage to still have a very solid hold onto everything because they're denying a lot of aggression out of Garda right now. Everybody's so low. They trade out Utka for Brugman once more. No soldiers now, but Theos gets forced by a pipe across the point, and well, there's not enough aggro there onto Juxta to pop for a long time. He finally does, but obviously it's enough to just cut off everyone and wipe the entirety of Garda off of the map.
Ellie just turning the tide completely in these last couple of fights. He's done so much damage and gets that all-important force now, which means that not only they're getting second, not only they're getting an advantage, they're going to get last hungry as well because they've got players just stacking the point already. Nobody on Garda can get even near this. They bomb in eventually, but the point is just tapped under their noses. Offense straight back where they left off on that first half of process. They're taking the 1-0 lead, and again, the easiest way to push Snakewater last is just to win on second.
Yeah, also a very curious choice by Utka to just choose to be the sole player spawning on Sniper. I guess he was hoping to one day he's gonna hit that shot, and when he does, when he does hit that shot, oh boy, we're gonna be talking about it for years. But unfortunately, that time was not the time he hit it, and now we're into another mid-fight where Garda have to find a response to this full-fence aggression. They have to actually win for once, and they can't just keep trying to do weird and cheeky little plays. So I suppose we'll see how it goes as Rons bombs in deep behind, and just kind of like just there. Nobody on Garda really seems to have noticed him for the longest time. Matter of fact, Grix gets picked off in the meantime, and Rons just keeps fragging as QB grabs one onto Utka as well, and that's a one mid-fight for 4 friends off the back of it up. Maybe in fact Theos might just die here if he's not careful. He's gonna get a lot of aggression onto him. Yeah, he forces to the pressure, which honestly you cannot blame him for. But obviously it's a done and dusted Uber, nothing is happening with that, and 4 friends are going to take second off the back of it, have a full Uber in tow for last as well, and this might just be another round for them.
There's 2 engineers on last.
Okay, that was probably just a miscommunication.
Yeah, there's someone going to change off. Utker and Galen still both building guns.
Okay, they've noticed. They've noticed.
They realized eventually, okay.
They realized, okay.
It was a funny little moment. They're both spawning at the same time. The limitations of the config we use, but UV charge coming in. Well, shut aside now for the French. They're going to take down the one gun that did exist. The bomb comes in onto point finally, but they're going to jump in. Grix also going to try and do the damage they can, and actually going to cut down a lot of these aggressive French players. Utker going to get the kill onto Delhi also when Brugman and Juxta left up. Brugman going to jump onto the point, but not going to be enough surely. Utker finally going to find it. Nope, Chappie steals it with the pipe as Juxta going to have to run all the way back to spawn as the sole survivor. As Garda gets a new lease of life. It was full Uberad for 4 fence, but don't quite manage to make that one work. Great play there from especially those 2 soldiers there. The Garda side just managed to deny that cap just long enough to get their players in, get healthy, and destroy the oncoming forces. But yeah, Garda now over the big advantage, and the onus is on them to do something.
Yeah, well, maybe this is the turn of fates that they need, but they have to actually get into this midpoint, and they've been struggling with it so far. Sure, it was an even situation, and there's a flank immediately taking down Grix. He does trade out for QB at the very least, but, you know, that Rons behind is going to be something that they have to at least dedicate a little bit of resources to, as Utka tries his damnedest to not die to him, and, well, the rest of Garda moves across the point. So perhaps 4 friends banking a little bit too much on Rons, making something more happen there. They're just going to have to give that up instead. Hold second with that Uber instead, and for once, first time in a while at least, Garda are actually in the driver's seat. They're going to try to attack the enemy team second. The novel ideas for them perhaps, as they try to grab as much ground as quickly as they can, knowing full well this is probably going to end in an exchange if they go deep enough, and for the time being they're being cautious about it. Matter of fact, Grix goes down, and that could just stunt it right there as the rest of the team tries to escape as best they can, and Chappie is getting mulched in lower, just barely, narrowly escaping with his life. But it certainly did not look like it would happen for a moment.
Yeah, narrow window of opportunity there for Garda. There was 2 players that got denied forward, spawned on 4 fence. It was Nico and one of the soldiers, and they both had to spawn back up all the way on last. There's a moment, there's a tiny little 64 opportunity, but it just didn't all the way too well. Who's going to jump in onto Shafty though, who somehow lives for a little bit longer, going to get spammed down with sticks, but no, actually survives it. Button Brugman trading out with Uber charge, actually forced out by Juxta. Does cut underneath, able to do some good damage, taken down eventually, but like 2 plays for a force, essentially. Very, very nice work there from Garda, as they're going to back up to their own mid and try and stay in as long as they can. Getting good spawn in another 2 seconds. Only 5 players on this blue side going to be charging in, and it seems they're charging in very, very far. Force comes out, and the pocket scout drops. Runs massive bomb across the point.
Yeah, he's on form today. Just finding that, and it gets out of it as well somehow. Maybe if QB just runs in, okay, he's the one to pay that life tax instead. He's gonna be the one to get taken down, but Ron's just getting away with so much stuff today, and Garda just not finding a response for that cheeky little guy doing what he does, and never mind. Turns out he doesn't necessarily have to be the one. Sure, he finds Bud as well, he's still behind, but they killed 2 ahead. Matter of fact, they kill 3 now with Ron's cleaned up as well, so... And the mid wasn't even capped, I just noticed. Forfeit's never capped that either, so... Garda just gonna keep rolling this forward, even with the disad. They certainly have the opportunity to take a lot of ground on second tier, maybe get a force out of Juxta, which would really mess up Forfeits at this point, and even just capping the second tier. And there's the force, I guess, 1 soldier for it, and Utka already slips in behind. Unfortunately for him, they're gonna be aware of it. Rons has noticed he just spawned, and some other players come back as well. Still, it's enough to pull back the aggression out of Forfeits, and now Garda...
Actually goes to Shafi instead. Bomb comes in, runs in on the medic. Theos,
he gets it!
Users just gets in time. That's huge from Theos. Literally 5 HP, 1 last lick of damage into Theos. Would have got that kill, but no. Theos
he dies anyway.
Dies anyway in lobby. With his players in on last, the cap time's coming through. QB gonna try and block in, but doesn't manage it, and Forfeits drop it at the worst possible moment there. I thought that was done. Runs and Nevo both on Theos for so long, and the Eva comes up at the pixel perfect time.
Just a microsecond longer, and Theos is dead there. He drops, and it's all over. So that is an unfathomably crucial time to get that Uber, to keep his team moving forward ever so slightly longer. Bring Garda back into this. It's 1-1 with a third of the map time done. Certainly a different position than it was on the last map, and this time they're aggressive straight off the bat, these Garda players. They find Deli right away, turn him out for Bud on the other side. Unfortunately for Garda though, everybody is low as well on their own side. They have to wait for heals. Rick's gonna get taken down as QB just wins that fight on the flank, and they just gotta try to go off the fact that they have that demo advantage. Shappy walking across with his team here. They gotta deal with that QB behind, who they are aware of, and they do deal with, as Utka found a frag onto Juxta. Actually, I didn't even know. I just noticed that. What happened? He just ran in and got that?
No, they
just gets away with it?
I think it was just Nevo and Juxta left up on the low ground, and Nevo just gets caught, and Juxta, just left alone, tries to run out lower, and just gets caught out by the combo. It was really well played there by the Garda combo, just controlling the center of the map, just making sure whichever direction Forfeits went, they just couldn't get onto the height in the center, and winning out the DM fights, and now they've been rewarded with a massive overcharge advantage. There's going to be a gun coming up on the left-hand side for 20s as the overcharge comes and takes down that gun very, very quickly, but 2 players down on the way in, and no frags found just yet. Captain coming through though anyways, players throwing their lives at this point. Theos taken down. Shappy on the point, gonna try and cap it out. What?
They just forgot.
On the point, gets it.
They just forgot about Shappy, I guess. What? Everybody on forward was just standing on top of the point, shooting the other Garda players, and Shappy just waltzes on in there and just stands on the point for free. The one sticky that was even close to him, didn't get dead, and sometimes all you gotta do is play the objective. The objective is, the point is the 7th player on your team, and it's an important one, unfortunately, at the end of the day. It's the most important one, so gotta go up 2-1, just like that. They are immediately in.
Yeah, let it be known as well that Shappy, at this point, at the point in time, just as the round is ending, when the pauses come through, well, obviously it's pause for the future, but just at this freeze frame we've got, Shappy is actually still in 194 health. Shappy was taking basically no damage that whole time.
Yep.
I think got a nice arrow in the middle of it. I'm not quite sure, but still looking pretty healthy there. As focus 5 wasn't there, and getting 2 soldiers in the push in just isn't enough. Forfeits were sort of still scattered around, still trying to get the respawners in, and great point pressure from Garda, and they've fought back valiantly this game. It's last 4 minutes or so they managed to get 2 rounds, so really, really well played from them. Quick one off the mid as well. What a turn!
You'd have to consider as well, QB basically wasn't in that fight at all, because he was still behind. One of the soldiers, Grix being dead, was just QB cleaning that frag up behind. He just now arrived at last when the point was capped, so he was basically out of the fight the entire time as well. Lacking that scout, certainly doesn't help, I would argue. So it was basically a 5 5v5 or whatever at that point already. Even if you lose another player, the Uber just, gives Garda enough position, and somehow Shappy activated stealth mode and just walks on the point.
Yeah. It is still
all that
some
matters.
character progression thing for Garda, because I think at some point in like the TLR game, I remember they had like plenty of scenarios like that, where they had Uberad, sometimes even Uberad with like an extra player up or whatever, or like the guns spammed down already, like, and these were pushes that they were struggling with. But yeah, very nice and clean this time, and going to be rewarded with it as game gets unpaused. We're going to be getting ready to start up round number 4. Forfends were 1-0 up, but now they are 2-1 down as we're going to be getting their rollout in. Remember, they need to fight back in this one if they're going to try and have a go at getting into that second spot to bypass that lower bracket round 1. But otherwise, they are safe. They will be making it to playoffs. And they're 3 points from that first map, but they want more, and they're going to come back fighting for it in the 4th round.
Yeah, it's the new mid, new me, perhaps, for the Frenchies as they try their best again. The pause does come through at some point here as well, so either somebody lags, but holy moly, it's already going horribly. That's the entire combo. That's basically the entire team dead, matter of fact. They're all gone, just like that. Yalin does some cleanup. The soldiers go absolutely bonkers. I mean, sure, Theos does go down, but what a mid-fight, regardless. Just the Theos dying, like the only saving grace there for Forfends. And I'm pretty sure at this point is either another round getting converted, because Grix is already on last, just being a nuisance. He's gonna get cleaned up, but Garda being aggressive and keen once more. But I'm pretty sure this is what a pause would happen. Somebody probably lagged or anything of that note, and I guess we'll see, because Forfends are trying to retake second now, and they probably will as well for the time being, unless, no sticky traps, nothing to catch out anybody here. They're aware, they covered their corners, they got everything on lock, but they do have to deal with an Utka sniper on the other side, who will inevitably hit a shot today.
Yeah, hit a couple, but not anything too impactful so far, but yeah, Forfends, like you said, that kill onto Theos in the mid was absolutely huge. Ron's hit a couple of really, really nice rockets just behind the hut. Able to catch Theos out, who honestly had pretty decent movement up until that point, but literally if that last rocket doesn't land, like, there's genuinely a world where this is like steamrolling straight onto the Forfends last again, because those double soldier bombs from Garda were so good once again. But again, having enough players there means they are going to cap up mid and back out enough players into second. Utka going to be the one trying to peek in in this little window. 2 sightlings you can work with in Snake second. I wouldn't say it's the easiest point to snipe into, but it's somewhere where you can certainly have some fun. Nice out. That window one is one of the more powerful ones. With Juxta completely aware of this. Playing behind the logs, it's going to be so hard to find anything onto him.
Grix and Rons just exchange lifelines on the flank in Saw, so nothing happening off of the back of that either. They're just going to reset with Garda being a bit more cautious and a bit more passive, seeing if anybody on Forfends wants to walk forward and enter the sniper site. And at the end of the day, they are up around. They can bide their time. Any minute off the clock is one that favors Garda at this point. As much as a low round game is maybe not the most exciting or thrilling thing, at the end of the day, you do what you gotta do to win. And some aggression coming into Saw, having a few chances there to make something happen, but not hitting the shots just yet. Just rotating around again, and Forfends are on top of shutting down those sidelines for the time being. Lots of spam, just making sure that the sniper can't go anywhere for free, and making sure that he's not getting any angles on any crucial targets, aka Juxta, because Juxta is bunkered up behind those locks. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, it's sort of a reminiscent of like when you try to snipe into like a Metalworks last, for example, and like the sniper's really just looking to maybe catch a stray soldier or a stray scout or something and just try and open up some space, because you're not getting straight out as that medic, but you can perhaps make it to a doorway as less well, and one of your soldiers can get in, or maybe you can have a scout pushing at some point to catch someone off guard, and just any frag is what you're looking for here. And so far Utka hasn't really had anyone present into the sightlines yet, as going to be about half of this stalemate time going to be taken down. Utka now rearranging over towards the Soul, going to try and peek over towards Cheese, see if he sees anyone, just a couple of legs of that trailing soldier there. Please drop it down. Yeah, just backs up again. Going to see what they can do.
Just the endless back and forth, the rodeo of trying to get the sniper sideline, because that's what they got to play around at this point. I mean, Utka's been a sniper for so long now as well. They kind of have to commit to him finally getting something, just making something with this play work. At some point, he might just even grow impatient, just go for a hero shot or something like that. Instead, see if anything can happen, because you got to make some space for this guy. He's got to start to have to do something. Otherwise, you're just ticking down the time, waiting for a round reset, which effectively just means you're giving up mid at that point, and putting yourself in a situation where you could potentially lose much more if you're not careful. So he wants that angle. He wants that shot onto like a soldier up so bad. He gets a bunch out on the Bruchman as Bud bombs in, trying to do his best, and gets a lot of damage onto Juxta. No follow-up just yet, but Yalin is there to try and do it. He's getting body blocked by 4 players, but there was an attempt. There was an attempt. They finally tried to do something. Now they just got to deal with the counter aggression out of forfeits.
That was so close.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen the Bud bombs before in Snake, but I thought that could have been it. I thought that could have been the bomb coming in from the skybox, landing straight on Dutch's head. But good movement from the French medic, who's able to just about stay alive. And with the Yalin, I really was actually not to do. It was Yalin, like you said, running in underneath, trying to get the last lick of damage, but so able to get out towards the pack. But offense, they respect it now. They know 2 players up even. They need to get health and they need to get back in their positions and decide, you know, we're not going to risk it pushing in for the sake of 50 seconds. Just going to wait this one out and play for that round reset. Still plenty of time for them to get back in.
Yeah, that's the strat to go for at this point. Matter of fact, they're actually being a little aggressive here as well, just to shut down any sort of aggression out of Garda, with Utka getting cleaned up now. That means that Sniper is off the table for another 15 seconds, and well, that's half the time of the round left, so we're gonna see some sort of exchange here soon. Garda are just gonna send it in, because at this point they've got little to lose anyway. Worst case, it's gonna be the most chaotic trade you've ever seen, and Forfeits are gonna actually move forward once more. But for the time being, they gotta wait for the rest of the team to arrive, and they gotta get on that point soon if they want to have any sort of overtime here. With 10 seconds, maybe they're just keen to also wait, which would be the most boring outcome possible for this. Utka tries to run in, just gets immediately cleaned up, and there's a Uber way too late to do anything with. Yeah, no, they just waited too long. Oh well, stalemate it is.
I know it's not great for the viewer experience, but I sort of respect it from the Garda side, because obviously, like you're saying, they can take a trade or something, but there's always that like it's not completely risk-free going for a trade. There's some world where you drop a player on the way in, or perhaps Juxta manages to escape and they keep an Uber charge up and you get some sort of imbalance in the position, but no. They're going to just wait it out. They'll have their chances with their sniper and with that Bud bomb, but not able to bear any fruits. As now, their mid fights have looked good the last couple of times, so we're going to be back on another mid. See if this double one comes in quick again, and it does. Rick's low, Bud in high, going to land straight onto Juxta, taken down instantly. Bruchman down also at the cost of Bud. Grit's currently still fighting out with Nevo in lower. It's Evie now going behind the hook, going to be taken down late. Deli jumping up top, going to try and get in onto Theos, who's currently just sat underneath, like dodging and weaving behind these little pillars on this mid 3v3 temporarily. Bud just spawning in now. So just be scout up Utka on mid as the players have swapped sides completely. Theos, though, with 80% Uber charge, might be able to come back in with an Uber if they build up just enough. They're getting ready now to potentially re-engage up through Kitchen, but the pick comes through straight away. Onto Rons, onto Nevo, and this is a big mid win. Deli gonna bomb in, try and get the force out onto Theos. Not gonna manage it. Garda taking another convincing mid.
It's incredible. Like I was watching Theos pretty much an entire mid. Incredible movement, perfect timing on getting into Kitchen and then back out again, just avoiding Deli. If he had like stayed out a little bit longer there before walking back into mid and then eventually rotating with Utka, Deli would have just mulched them. So the fact that, you know, they played that just right works out wonderfully for them. They're going to take that straight into last. Matter of fact, second hasn't even capped yet. The sniper is taken care of as well. Nevo did hit a headshot on the way in, but it wasn't enough to stop this entire aggression out of Garda. And they found 2 frags as well, even if the Uber has faded, even if they didn't accomplish much with it, and Jux is going to have his own now. They are still finding frags somehow. They're still trading. This Utka is still in there, and he's going to get onto Juxta. He's going to get onto the medic, get the force out of him. Yalin is in as well, and just going to basically forfeit his life for a little bit of cap time or a little bit of point pressure. Somehow, some way, they still get away with it.
Yeah, and they're going to get so mad. It's like, it's definitely workable. Sitting in with the 30% sort of region, Yalin going to be a bit of a slow spawner. But they've got plenty of players on the second to build with. But Theos now meeting that 17% mark. They can have another go at it. But again, I always find that those last pushes can often be like harder when you you want to go in quick because you've got the space, but you still haven't capped second up. You're basically playing a player down. You can't push a point yet, but of course it's worth doing. You can completely lock down those spawn shutters, but eventually didn't quite get enough done. But this time, Uber charge going to come in from the right hand side. Uber shutter getting onto the gun straight away. There's still a soldier hiding towards that shutter. Ron's using the bomb back across into the face of everyone on this point. Going to be taken down also with the frags currently going the way of the French team. Utka in on the heavy also. taken down, and Theos now lone survivor, going to try and run out alive towards the sword, but gets hounded down by literally everyone on this French side as they hang on. The heavy push in did not work. Offense lived to fight another day.
Yeah, it was a good attempt by Garda to get onto the last tier. They got a lot of cap time out of it as well, a lot of point pressure. Unfortunately for them, they didn't kill anybody on the other side. They didn't kill any Frenchies. They were so focused on getting that point pressure, getting that heavy in there, who was ultimately just not in quickly enough, and it just came back to bite them. Now they're just trying to scramble and delay Forfence as much as they possibly can. They do kill Delhi at the very least, so it buys them a little bit of time, but they still got to deal with their own spawners. Just now coming up is Grix, who's decided he's gonna snipe. I guess he's in forward spawn, so it makes sense that we try to be a bit of a surprising factor here. But he's gonna actually have to hit a shot onto something crucial.
What's getting caught? Oh, maybe not.
Okay.
Have to be a heroic arrow there to save that one, but nope. Happy takes out Ron's. Grix still waiting. The sticks in front of that shot, and nope, decides against it. Here's the sticks being placed and thinks, you know what, we're just going back to last. One player for one. Theos getting Uber charged soon. It's like we had last game. It's not quite a full coast to coast because Theos does have time to build up an Uber charge. But now French is going to be going straight in, going to try and get as much done as they can before this gun gets put into full position. Going to be taken down actually earlier that gun, so now could be more space to work with. Ron's bombing in high also. He's going to be waddling in too as Bumpkin trying to land on the sniper. Don't quite manage to get it. Another Frenchie's now player down. Juxta getting juggled in as well. Maybe going to be vulnerable to a bomb from Bud, but I hope deciding just to land on Nevo instead as 3 players down now. And Garda going to be the ones walking in to reclaim their own second.
They still have to deal with that Uber on the side of Juxta as well, though. And, well, he's going to get forced. He's going to use it, and he's probably going to try to bait out an exchange here out of Garda, which will be the case. Obviously, it's a lot better for Theos, though. He has to flash a lot less. And Juxta might just escape, but the point is definitely secured for Garda. And now in the post-Uber fight, it's actually looking a lot better for Forfence. The positioning is so much better. They find Theos immediately. Yeah, he's dead already. No heals for the remaining Garda players. And they're all over the place. Terrible positions. Bud has no health. Will definitely not escape with his life here either. Shappy trying to hold down the fort as best he can, but he's just gonna die. And Forfence are giving themselves another round here. Delhi hitting some mad pipes. Yalin trying his best as the heavy. That's not gonna happen. And there you go. Bringing it back to 2-all with 6 minutes left on the clock. It's do or die time now.
Yeah, the second golden rule of playing 6 is particularly Snakewater. It just never push out of last. Like it's three players up and it still goes wrong. And yeah, I'm honestly, I think it's a miracle that Juxta gets out alive. That Uber charge is so much better from Theos, but they just don't take much space with it. They're just too busy trying to flash people on the point. They didn't get much done with it whatsoever, and players sort of running around seem a little bit lost. And yeah, Forfence just come in and better focus by better positioning, and yeah, altogether just able to make that one work. One thing that has worked well for Garda so far is their mid-fights. They're going aggressive again. Grig's going to jump at the second time of asking, going to try and get the damage on Juxta, who actually stays alive this time, as Bud, Shappy both falling, and the tides might be turning on these mid-fights. Now Grig's going to be in behind, going to try and do something, but not quite manage to get any damage off. There's only Butcher and Yalin left up. I think Butcher on mid still running straight into the combo. Tunneling in, but no, not able to get anything. Yalin and Theos all the way back out to the last. Players still pounding them in. 5 French players still bursting their way in onto the last point. They want it quick.
They want to secure this once more as best as they can. They did it on Process. They want to do it on Snake as well. And so far, so good. I mean, they are still up in terms of numbers, but losing both soldiers before you ever have to Uber here certainly doesn't help them all that much.
4v3.
The Uber gets forced earlier out of Juxta as well. It's going to be slightly better for Theos, but that's just because he's got less targets to heal. Once they fade, the positions are going to be so much better for the Frenchies here, and they find Utka immediately. Gris gets taken care of as well. And there you go. They go up 3-2. Just that quickly.
I don't know how Delhi lives that, to be honest. Walking in, it felt like Delhi was at like 58 feet for most of that push, but great turn of pace there from Forfence. Like, they didn't care about the second. They were straight in. They knew that with only a American scout up, they could start pressuring that spawn node, start taking space in that enemy last, and yeah, eventually just sheer brute force is able to take Forfence to reverse the score once more. 2-1 down to 3-2 up. Still just under 5 minutes left to play, so Garda are still in with a shot. They're getting this to at least a golden cap as they double bomb the soldiers across much faster this time. Going to land straight in. Grix onto Juxta, who stays alive. Shappy goes down also. Utka drops, and we are in a complete mirror of the last time. They're straight away out. Yalin and Theos, but this time maybe getting hounded a bit further. Delhi going to jump up above and try and go for the big player onto Theos, but no, taken down. But big point taken, and second also, and Forfence looking very, very comfortable.
Yeah, they found like a response, it seems like. They found the counter to Garda's mids, as Garda always just do the same thing, send in both soldiers as deep as they can, and all you gotta do on the other side, we'll just have like a soldier wait up on the roof, guarding the combo from above, and shoot the soldiers as they land with 20 health, and there you go. It works flawlessly every time. Now they gotta deal with the counter-aggression out of Garda here, though, as they retake their own second, and, well, they've traded 2 scouts for Bud, which is arguably a pretty decent trade overall in terms of just material, and allows them to get back further here, even more so as they try to get into mid. Griggs in deep already. Utka is about to fall off, and they find Deli. At the very, very least, the flank manages to get that, and the Uber comes in as well. Oh, no, it was a force.
The Bruceman just gets in behind and is able to jump all the way out. Bruceman's running for a leap all the way around the lobby. Brings 4 players there to take down Bruceman. The massive kill there coming in. Just managed to escape out through lower also. Great plays again. And now another big charge advantage coming in as everyone's trying to pile in to get the kill. Oh! And the drop comes in. Yalin with the scattergun shot. That might just turn it around. The push comes through. So many players pressuring a medic, and a massive 100 damage scattergun shot onto Juxta is able to turn this fight around.
Yalin just wins those, just waltzes right on in there. Absolutely incredible display. Keeping Garda in this match. They still have just under 3 minutes to get this round on the board. Take themselves to a golden cap. Utka dying certainly does not help, but they're probably still going to commit to this anyway, knowing the ad that they're rocking. Knowing that as well, Forfeits probably are going to be very passive and just try to go for a force and see what they can do instead, which is going to be what happens. Or back cap, I suppose. They're definitely trying. They've got QB in behind already. Bruceman is going to follow him up as well, perhaps, or just wait. And, yeah, no, they're not out-capping a 3x with a 2x. That's not happening at all. They're going to have to come back to the second, deal with these players behind, and lose a couple of them. Matter of fact, Theos gets taken down by Nevo as well, as the combo tries to escape.
They bought so much time with that back cap attempt. It was so well played. Even living for so much longer as well. Almost able to get out the grasses. Yeah, 4 players falling, 5 players falling on the Garda side, and this could well be good night for this one as offense now up so many players, up so much Uber advantage. They can seal the deal with this final last push. Deli gets taken onto a headshot, and is that another drop? No, it's 99% on Juxta. The bomb comes in. Garda refuse to die in this one. They're going to have to hold on for even longer, though it's still not over at all. Fresh coming onto the point. Ultra's going to come in to try and block the for a little bit of time. Nevo down, runs down also, and this is potentially turned completely.
Oh no, QB!
5v1.
QB's still up.
Running into last. Bud going to have to win out the 1v1 on last. No!
No!
Oh,
okay.
Oh, they get it in time.
They got the cap in time. That could have been a disaster.
So
yeah, I wasn't paying attention to the cap either. For a moment, I believed QB was actually going to get that cap. So the timing was incredible.
That soldier jumps away on the perfect time the scout starts capping. You couldn't write it. But no, off the backs of this, Juxta decided to come up crit screed to try and hang on. 1 minute left to play. Garda still wanting to fight back in this one. They're trying to take in control through Saw. There's going to be a big crit from Juxta. There's going to be 3 sticks across the point from Deli. When it's ready, 98% going to be ready now. Bruceman gets caught on the way in those. Now, pressure coming in straight up to top lobby. The crits on last might not be ideal. They're going to use Uber charge straight in already. Deli caught out. Isolated the rest of the team taken down on the way in.
No way.
Gun as well. Captain coming through already. One coming in. Juxta in as well.
No way.
Garda, they're going to do it. They're going to cap it. Nevo what? What? They go down. That's it. 3-3.
The crits, perhaps a misguided play. Perhaps a bit too comfortable for Fence with the crits. Had they an Uber there, they could have potentially held on. Maybe bought themselves a little bit extra time on that last hold, but no. The crits went back to just bite them in the ass horribly, and we're going to a golden cap. Garda are not going down without a fight. They're taking home, at the very least, a point out of this match. So already stealing 1 off of Forfeits. Good enough for them. And it's about as close as it can get, I think, in a map like this.
Maybe remember as well. We need to remember that coast-to-coast push started on the Garda last in what was, I guess, temporarily a 1v5 on second, but with a sniper headshot onto Deli on the way in.
Yeah.
And then Juxta dying on 99%, followed by a back cap missing out by like half a second at best. Like, Garda were literally hanging on by the skin of their teeth. But you know what they're extra happy about? They're not just happy about getting this golden cap. They've got the 1 point they needed. They're going to playoffs.
Oh, does this confirm them? This 1 point.
This is confirmed that one last round, it was practically guaranteed anyway, but that has completely mathematically sealed the deal.
Well, there you go. That's all it takes. So they are in playoffs already, which means now they can just do whatever the hell they want. I mean, Utgar already left the server, probably just to relog or something like that. But you know, like that's the point we're at, I suppose. If Garda really don't want to do much more, if they want to just slow their roll now, they can. They can comfortably just accept that they're going to be in playoffs starting next week or whenever they decide to actually play the playoffs, which usually should be the week after. But sometimes it can be wonky like that. So yeah, they've got those on lock, and well, I guess it's gonna be down to whether they want an extra point, whether they want to make things just ever so slightly more difficult for Forfence and the implications that has. Because I don't know, does it make a difference if Forfence gets an extra point now or not?
I didn't look too much in terms of the battle for second. I think it might do. Let's have a quick little look. My my tables, yeah. I think if Forfence get the extra point here. Actually, no, it doesn't make a difference. No, I think Forfence is second regardless, unless Skedda do a 6-0 or something. I'm not even going to confuse. I think Skedda can still technically come second or something. I'm not gonna risk saying something false on air with like 5 seconds worth of maths. But they're both making playoffs is what they matter about. And yeah, Forfence, if they win this Golden Cap as well, I think probably maybe will be second place. But I don't know. We'll have to see. In a very, very complicated season, lots of close teams. That's the thing. Like when you say these post-witness seasons, like basically, obviously, Mandem this season have run away a bit, but like everyone else is like taking maps of everyone else to some extent. So you get the games like this. You get so many series where maps are traded, so many golden caps, so many comebacks, so many back and forth games. Like this game has been as close as you can get basically for a 3-3. But it's like 1-0, then 2-1 to the team, then 3-2, and then a cap coming in with 30 seconds left. So
yeah, it's quite something. Like I was gonna say something. Yeah. So this is, if anything, this is actually bad news for the remaining 3 teams, because now there's only 1 playoff spot left for grabs, and well, TLR, Skedda, and Nandem are gonna have to fight over who gets that one, because well, only one of them can make it. Only one of those 3 can still make it, which is unfortunate, because all 3 of them are deserving of it. They've all been taking maps and however they can, but I don't know. That's going to be the interesting thing for the coming days, right? Because their matches, one of them being TLR Skedda, I'm pretty sure, is going to be in the next couple of days. Skedda and Nandem.
Yeah.
And TLR are going up against like what, Germans?
Mandem.
Oh, Mandem, right?
They need. Oh yeah. This result is not good for TLR. This is not good for TLR. This result. This is nightmare fuel, especially if Garda were to take this Golden Cap, because then they're needing basically a 6-0, and also for Skedda to do them a favour and not quite manage it. But that's for another day, as on this day we're going to be going onto this mid. The final point of this game, first map taken by Forfence, but a heroic comeback in the late dying seconds from Garda on map number 2 has brought this through to a Golden Cap at 3 points apiece. Who's going to take the final? We'll have to see. Garda's double bombs have been shut down a couple of times later on this half. We'll see if they go for anything as aggressive again. It seems like they're going for it straight across the top.
Yeah, but they're not landing on the combo this time around, choosing to land somewhere else and still only finding 1 kill. Matter of fact, Theos dies on the other side as well. So it's a mad dash to try and get onto Juxta as best they can. With 1 scout just hiding, just being a little cheeky. He's been spotted already though, and nothing can happen there for Garda. They've lost that mid, and matter of fact, just on the back of that, there's also a good chance that they could just lose the round, the Golden Cap. Yeah, it would really be such a quick way to end it for Forfence. Either way, they have a good chance. They've got a full ad trying to take us into last. Obviously, Garda are going to have at least a little bit of a defense mounted. They have a sniper ready once more as well. If they get caught by it once more, we could see that coast to coast happen. It certainly happened before this very map just mere minutes ago. So we'll see how Garda hold this, as the Sentry's level 2 getting spammed down immediately, though it is out of the equation. And matter of fact, so is Bud. which is not a good look if you're trying to hold last. Uber has come out though, so it is out of the equation for the Frenchies now as these Garda players try to get onto the point. Yalin trying his absolute best to hold it down. Chappie doing a good job just dealing damage as well. They're finding frags. He's doing so much. They're finally finding the focus on him, and they do eventually get it, but it took so long. And there you go. Forfans do win it rather quickly, but at least it was a good hold attempt by Garda. And GG's as both teams make playoffs.
That was so scrappy at the end. I genuinely thought there that, like, I think Shappy was like alive for like another couple of seconds there with a couple of extra stickies to spam in. Like, there's really a world where they can just hang on. It's just the fact there was 3 players still up to fight that heavy, and yeah, Theos gets isolated a little bit out towards the concrete and just gets completely focused down. Yeah, sensible play there. Get rid of the medic. I mean, that heavy can't get any more bow arrows, any more overheal, and yeah, just a nice conversion in the end for Fens. I want to say probably off the back of play there, probably deserving winners in that game. There was some scrappy moments from both these sides, but really well fought. And yeah, both of them securing their spot in playoffs. So yeah, let's can get ready now for we get some logs up maybe. Yeah, we've got some logs. We've lost a different moment there, but it's fine. Get some logs up. What is 4-3?
My internet cut out at just the right time there at the end. That's funny. It's been weird today. I don't know what's going on with it. Thankfully, it didn't cut out too much during the match at the end. But yeah, logs. Much closer match. You see Garda actually putting down some numbers this time around, and Yalin just absolutely bombing on frags. I mean, so did the scouts on the other side, mind you. But Yalin really putting the team on his back for Garda there. That's for sure. A lot of damage out of Delhi as well. Absolutely nuking. And, you know, just all around, players doing well.
Yeah, well, that's what happens. It was a close game. And again, like as Snakewater games go, like it's not every day you get a 4-3 in Snakewater. Like they were really going for it. We obviously had a stalemate in the midst of on second as well of all places, but no, they were really going for it, and there was lots of back and forth, lots of momentum switches, lots of players getting caught out, pushing and pulling, lots of people trying to rat on the flanks. Like it was fast paced stuff for vast parts of that map, and that's going to lead to slightly higher later damage numbers. But yeah, there we have it. That is it for the regular season for these two teams, but they're both going to be in action in those all-important playoffs that are going to be on the 18th and the 19th of this month, so come back for those. But actually, before then, there's still 3 more games to occur in this season. See who is going to be joining Mandem, who is going to be joining Forfens, and who is going to be joining Garda in the playoffs. It's going to be one of Skeda, Nandem, or TLR, so do stay tuned for more games later on this week. I think there's a couple that haven't got dates confirmed yet, so I'm not going to spout too much of speculation. Looks like Thursday and Sunday there were the most likely dates for these games coming up. So do stay tuned. Do see who is going to make it through and see who is going to be potentially being the ones getting those wins against Mandem, send them down to 3rd place again. But that's all there is to say, Serge. Should we leave it there?
Yeah, I mean the all important TLR Mandem match is the one that has unfortunately not been scheduled yet. So that's the one to really look out for. That's going to be quite the story for TLR if they manage to do anything there. But yeah, for them it's all or nothing basically, and for us it's a good night as I try to sort out my internet.
Thanks all for joining us, and see you all on Thursday.